very warm welcome to all our viewers. We are here at the 8th edition of the Indian Hotelier Awards. The theme of this year's event is revolutionizing the Indian hospitality sector. And so, on that note, I would like to ask you my first question. Uh, what would you say is the present state of the Indian hospitality sector, and what are the key trends that you feel will shape the next 5 years of this whole industry?
The Indian hospitality sector is at an inflection point because the growth that we have seen so far is incremental. I think we are now poised for exponential growth because the demand side has picked up like never before. The domestic demand is picking up very strongly. The international demand continues to be robust. I think the challenge that we have is that there is a mismatch between the demand and the supply that is coming in. And I think with a few policy tweaks, we will be able to get more investments in. So I think where we are today will not be where we will be 5 years later, because I think the sector will see exponential growth.
What do you think are the key avenues that industry leaders, stakeholders should focus more on to make sure that India becomes a global hub for hospitality?
I think for India, growth is a given. And because we've been one of the fastest growing large economy for several years, and it will continue to be so. And our economic demography is changing. So I think for India, growth is going to be a given. The challenge is, how do we bring that growth within a framework of responsibility? How do we create meaningful jobs within the sector for people? And, so I think the challenge for us is how to harness this growth potential, how do we fulfill our potential, and how do we do it in the best possible manner possible.
What role will government policies play in the expansion and growth of the Indian hospitality sector in this, let's say, in the next 5 years?
I think two important things that we are looking at is, first is we need to bring investments into the hotel within the harmonized list of infrastructure and away from the real estate list. If we do that, you will get longer gestation for repayment period, and your debt, the interest rates are going to be lower, and I think that will support and open up the capital structure for hospitality investments. The second is, states need to get onto the bandwagon to try and create incentives and subsidies to take hoteliers past the tipping point to make the investments.
So in the last few bites, we have spoken to a lot of people from the industry, a lot of leaders, and they all say sort of the same thing, that the government should increase their participation, their interaction with the leaders, with the captains of the Indian hospitality industry. Where do you see that going? Will that happen? What's next?
No doubt, because tourism is one sector which has to be led by the industry. And there is no point in, there's no point in saying that it's the government versus the industry. That is not so. If the industry does well, then the government does well as well, as the ministry does well too. So therefore, I think there will be a very strong synergy between the industry and the government.
Last question. BW Hotelier is going to complete a full 10 years this January. In your opinion, in your words, what role has it played in combining, in sort of collating the voice of the industry and its people?
I think BW Hotelier has been successful in being able to bring high quality of journalism to this sector, and especially through events like this, it has also played the role of a catalyzer. And I think there's much more that needs to be done, and best wishes to BW Hotelier.
So it was a pleasure chatting with you. Thanks.